The 10 best free games to play on PS4. Money, as we all know, can't buy you happiness. So by the same logic, a lot of fun things must be free. And lo and behold, they are. And we're not talking about the obvious, weak-ass options here, like sunsets, love, or the sound of children's laughter. No, we're hitting the good stuff. Video games. Free games have come a long way since the old days of mindless XP clicking and endless pay-to-win options. Now you'll find the full spectrum of gaming experience, from full-bodied action shooters, to RPGs, to narrative adventures, to competitive fighting games, just begging you to make them part of your life in exchange for exactly zero money. So read on, and we'll break down the best PS4 games you can get started on right now. 1. Fortnite Battle Royale. Probably the hottest, free multiplayer game right now, and for good reason. Taking PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds basis of a vast, 100-player, last man standing shooter as its basis, and then evolving it with natty, on-the-fly, tactical construction, Battle Royale is an instantly accessible hoot with serious long-term depth. Parachuting into a huge, open-world island map, initially completely unarmed and entirely devoid of supplies, the opening minutes of any match are giddy, tense scramble as you attempt to glide to a spot free of competition, but hopefully bountiful of resources, search for a weapon, and quickly smash up the environment in a bid to accrue a few of the building resources you'll need as things heat up. Two. Royale. Forget PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Actually, forget that instruction. No one remembers PlayStation All-Stars. Sony's mascot touting, Smash Bros. Homage made a splash akin to a pea in the Pacific back in 2012, and the light, breezy, platform brawler fighting game genre has, mostly, remained the sole preserve of Nintendo ever since. But no longer. A decidedly slick, accomplished, and even slightly more energetic take on the Smash formula, Royale presents a nonsensically eclectic cast of mythical and historical warrior archetypes, taking in Valkyries, Vikings, medieval knights, and 30s gangsters, and lets you go wild. 3. Smite. Part third-person action game, part competitive shooter, part RPG, part cooperative PvP team game. Smite takes the loose spirit of the MOBA and turns the genre in an entirely more immediate direction. You'll learn gold and experience with which to level and enhance your character's power and abilities, but, much like in something like Destiny, the RPG numbers mean nothing if your action skills and combat strategy aren't up to standard. Not that this is just about instinctive twitch play. With a current lineup of 93 playable hero deities covering ranged and melee archetypes, with separate magical and physical combat types, spread over 5 distinct classes, there's a huge amount of tactical team play to get stuck into. Let It Die. A hectic, borderline sadistic hack and slash. You should only play Let It Die if you have a penchant for getting your ass handed to you, or thrown over the other side of the room as one of its many insane bosses rips you in half in ways you didn't know existed. No, I'm not going to compare it to that game about darkness and souls. Grinding your way through its many levels, you'll have to beat boss after boss to make it all the way to the top of a tower that's mysteriously risen up through the earth. On your way you'll meet characters that look like someone pitched them based on random word combinations. The most memorable by far is the skateboarding Uncle Death. 5. Life is Strange, Episode 1. Bewitching players for 2 years now, finally you can see what all the fuss is about for free. Everything changes when lead character Max discovers she can rewind time, saving the life of her rebellious best friend Chloe in the process. Life in their home of Arcadia Bay gets dark when the pair start using Max's power to investigate the disappearance of Rachel Amber, one of their school friends. Rachel's absence causes ripples in the town, and they find themselves drawn deeper into the uncomfortable goings-on that have remained in the shadows until now. Altering the past creates its own problems, though.
Hey! Max? Chloe? Oh! Get in, Max! In the bathroom today. You set off the alarm. You hella saved my life. Don't ever touch me again! Then I realized I had a choice.
6. Paragon. Ready for some outlandish mental images? Here we go. A tiny imp riding a warbest with a mouth big enough to swallow a walrus whole. An angelic white and gold angel android. An engineer with one extra robotic arm clinging to her back. I assure you each one of these characters exists. And you can find them in Paragon, a multiplayer battle arena game bursting with havoc. Powered by Unreal Engine 4, everything looks beautiful, which you'll want to focus on when you're trying not to get shot to bits. Building your deck, no cards here, it's a fancy name for perk cards, will help to delay the inevitable, as you can select different perks or items to suit your playstyle. 7. Trove. PlayStation's attempt at Minecraft feels a little more like Dragon Quest Builders, with hours of building fun in store. In between bouts of piecing together your house castle lair of choice in Trove, there are vastly different landscapes to be explored. Yes, there's the usual forest, desert, and Arctic sections. Scattered into the mix is also a bright pink, Sakura and sweet candy realm, and a futuristic Tron-like world with high-tech enemies. Slashing your way through levels of each dungeon is surprisingly tough at points, yet it gradually gets easier. Warframe. Cyber ninjas. Does that word alone not sell you on Warframe instantly? With your main aims being assassination, looting, and trying out as many frames as possible, at first the amount to do is intimidating. You see, frames are loadouts, in the form of different sets of armor, that determine your abilities, and therefore your playstyle. To amass different frames to try, you'll first need blueprints, which will be splurged out of bosses you defeat. Use these to buy the frame you've got your eye on. One will be able to teleport, another will be able to summon a Frost Nova or a Sonic Boom. Encouraging you to play the game however you want and try out new approaches, it helps that each frame has an eye-catching design for you to yearn after. 9. Halkan. Similar to Warframe, Halkan gives players the option to hold on to their hard-earned cash and instead grind their way to the top. Stomping around in a giant mech is exciting enough, but the main attraction of the game is the fact that ammunition is unlimited. Of course, there is a catch. Your guns will overheat, turning you into the equivalent of a squishy damage sponge, so you'll have to retreat to recover your energy and get those guns firing again. Don't expect to be lumped with a specific mech loadout either, as you can customize the weapons, equipment, and select different mech upgrades to suit how you want to play. Plainsight 2. Lone wolves, step away. Those who yearn to be part of something bigger, to have brothers in arms shooting by your side, Step up to the plate. The raucously hectic FPS Planeside 2 has you join one of 3 factions and battle for domination of the planet or access by using foot soldiers, monstrously huge vehicles and air support. The premise will be familiar to anyone who's played an online FPS match. Each outpost you conquer and retain gives your team extra resources and limits the spawning options open to your enemies. You can only capture outposts that are near ones you've already claimed, so there's no voyaging deep into enemy territory where you'll become over-familiar with bullets and various body parts.
War. Okay, the turn's now. They're coming now. Max in. Max in. There you go, there you go, there you go. Hold on there now. Stand on it, stand on it. There you go. Nice work. High formal.
Whatever your allegiance, however you choose to fight.
Keep in mind what is most important.
We must fight together.
To survive.